back to the Overwatch World Cup Los Angeles qualifier. I'm Malik, and it has been an electrifying day here at the Blizzard Arena. We've had lots of exciting matches go down so far today, and we are getting ready to end on the highest note possible. But before we do that, let's go ahead and take a look at what action went down earlier today. We started off the day with Norway taking on Austria. Norway took that match. Then we went to Canada and Switzerland. Norway and USA took off on each other. And then Switzerland and Brazil just faced off against each other. Brazil was able to come out with that victory. Very tightly contested match. But it is time for the match that everybody has been waiting for. Our last match of the day is Team USA going up against Team Canada. There's been a ton of trash talk between both of these teams because right now they are number 1 and number 2 in the standings, of course. Team Canada, they have not dropped a map the entire qualifier stage, and Team USA dropped 1 map. So this is Team USA's time to possibly take some maps off of Canada and hop into that number 1 spot. But at the end of the day, these two teams will be moving on to BlizzCon. So right now, there's a lot of pride at stake in this matchup. So the Blizzard Arena is decked out in red, white, and blue. There's some red and white as well. And I think everybody in here is really ready. You guys are ready? All right. Well, before my ears burst, I'm gonna go ahead and introduce the first team. They are your second place finishers from last year, your silver medalists. Everybody give it up for Team Canada! All right, the boys in red and white looking ready to put up a fight. But of course, if they're gonna make it a perfect qualifier stage, they got a tall order in this next team. It is your hometown team. Everybody, give it up for Team USA! Oh, man. I'm trying to remember the last time the arena was this loud. It was like the Battle of LA during the regular season, maybe the playoffs for Overwatch League. I don't know, but I'm hyped, and I'm ready to get this thing going. Blizzard Arena, you guys ready to get this thing going? All right, well, let's go ahead and send it over to our casters, Uber and Mr. X.
And of course, we've been waiting for this one, Malik. Thank you very much. And what a way, Matt, to finish off this group stage. A highly anticipated match, while on the face of it doesn't have any real consequences between these two getting to BlizzCon. There's been a lot of talk on the interwebs about it.
It does matter a ton going into BlizzCon because you don't want to end up with one of those number 2 seeds.
Oh, does that mean you won't be drawing the USA versus the South Korea?
No. I wouldn't hurt our chances this time because I don't have the power to. But no, it is a huge match. A lot of the line. It's fun to see Muma and Raucus going against Bonnie, like teammates, the Houston Outlaws. A lot of rivalries between these two teams. It's going to be a fun one.
Oh my lord, the crowd really feeling this one, and it just feels so good to have the Blizzard Arena filled to bursting with you guys. Obviously, the history for these two teams at the World Cup has been interesting. The US has gone up against South Korea and lost twice in quarter-final matchups. They're hoping to probably avoid that one this year, at least, maybe go up against those heavyweights later on in that top 8.
And each year in the World Cup, Canada has improved. You think back to year 1, I think Huck was playing main tank for Canada last year.
Pokelaw's on there, a bunch of crazy mix of guys. Didn't get the results they wanted, but last year was a huge comeuppance. This year they're looking for more, and there's only one spot that's better than second place.
Now you see the full lineup for Team Canada there. Only Crimzo, not in the Overwatch League in the previous year, but you expect him to potentially make the jump this year as we move on forward. I think XQC against Muma, the main tank battle, is going to be huge.
I mean, we are going to have...
Yeah.
I mean, the last time these two played, words were exchanged.
Yeah, I mean...
it was very spicy.
Look, Dallas versus Houston was a really big rivalry during the season, and I think Muma and Space, they make up a tank line duo, at the front half that you look with XQC and Note, like, could be two of the best in the entirety of the World Cup.
And let's not forget, Raucus going up against his teammate, of course, on the other side. There's plenty of that going on in this particular match. These players that are understanding of each other. I know Raucus is talking a lot of trash to about Banny about this particular match, and even the coaches have been getting on a deal. Although you're just wearing each other's flags, I mean that seems kind of uninspired or unimaginative.
Yeah, and it's good to see Raucus actually play the Ana. I think Zenyatta was obviously so prevalent during the Overwatch League, and some fans may not be too familiar with his Ana play, but they're getting to see it here at the World Cup style.
It's been quite some time. And Raucus himself mentioned it. It is nice to get to sort of play a little bit out of what people are used to seeing from me in that Zen. I mean, you can say the same for Bunny as well. We're seeing him actually touch quite a few of those different heroes. Much more Lucio play now at the moment.
I wonder in this match how many of those different heroes we've seen both of these teams play end up in the actual match. I expect we're going to see a ton of Sombra from both sides. I think you're going to see a good amount of Doomfist and Pharah play, and then I think you're going to see a ton of Ana Lucio.
Let's compare, though. We talked about it before. Space versus Note, the Divas in this particular matchup. All eyes are going to be on these two very young, very talented individuals. Statistically, Matt, not a huge difference between them. They're very close.
Number 1 and number 2 in all the categories. So the absolute top of the top in terms of off-tank play. You're going to see these guys play a lot of Diva, Zarya. I'm excited. I think the one thing, I knew Space was like a really strong Diva in Zarya. We didn't really see Note play a ton of Zarya. Nope. But it's been very good.
So far, very, very good. We saw that on King's Row, of course, in that earlier series today. We know what both these guys are capable of as well. I feel like I see so many mirror matches over the course of this particular series. It's like, well, you've got Geordies, yeah, but there's Sinatra, there's Space, there's Note on the other side. Muma, well, yeah, but they got XQC.
I feel like Hydration could be a little bit of a wild card in this series. I think, we've seen he has one of the best Doomfists, in all of Overwatch League in the previous year. I think, obviously, here in the group stages has one of the strongest Doomfist plays. Plays a really strong Pharah. And then we even saw back in the Overwatch League as time, like his Genji is at the level of being able to carry games at moments. So I'm excited to see what Hydration brings in this series.
And that's very significant as well, that you can really make a huge impact as Genji, even now, or especially now, when we are seeing just so much of those heavier tank compositions played. Tough to make the impact, but yes, I mean, Agilities will be, obviously he's demonstrated a bit of Doomfist performance for us as well, but we saw most of it from Mangachu earlier on. On this particular map, though, as we head to Oasis, Matt's probably no shock to see a bit more conservative approach here. Tank compositions.
This is something that I kind of expected coming into the weekend, which is going to sound random, but Sinatra and Reinhardt. So I've been watching his stream a lot lately, playing some with Space, and he always was like, every time I seem to tune in, he's always playing Reinhardt. Like, it's just kind of weird. Seeing him a little bit earlier in the weekend, he's like, expect me to be on Reinhardt at moments.
Right, so it's going to be Winston Reinhardt. So essentially, double main tanks here to start things off, but Sinatra lands an early charge, and it's all looking pretty good for the United States. XQC cut down already, and the cleanup crew has already arrived, because this fight is all but done.
It's interesting, they sub out what would be like, you'd play like a Reinhardt Diva with like a Zarya in certain cases, but they decided to go with the Reinhardt with the Winston and the Diva. You could say that's to go against Sombra, right? A really easy spot checking with the Winston and the Diva.
Yeah, I mean, if you can force a fade and then jump on the enemy Moira, she's going to be in big trouble as well. Again, aggression from the USA. They are pushing back, though, as Canada have found a coalescence to at least propel XQC forward to a degree. Oh, Muma, that was brilliant. Goes for the Primal Rage just before he got charged to keep himself alive. That would have been him dead if he hadn't done so. However, Canada still able to break back in, and there's an EMP available for sure for now. This is about to get messy. Graviton and charge. 3 for Notes. And Canada looking to get back in control.
Another good self-destruct from Note. That time, it's actually Sinatra who charges Note into the corner, and he ends up putting him in a great position. He uses the self-destruct. The Graviton Surge from Agilities comes down right on top of it. They're able to get that big combo.
38% to 10 now. Canada starting to make up some of that deficit, and they still have that EMP for sure for available. Sneaking on through. Was spotted for a brief moment there, but he's looking to make life a little bit harder for Mo. Oh, no, he's pooped away. Forced to translocate. Can return to the point, and that EMP is definitely going to need to be used in a moment. Sinatra pushing ahead. He does have Earth Shatter available. Canada actually give up the point here. They vacate. They lost Note, and that seems to be enough for them to back on out.
Sinatra playing so aggressive on Reinhardt, but really Muma setting up a lot of this. When you have the Winston in play, the Winston able to get in the back line, it makes Surfboard's life really tough on Sombra. What do? Do you go try and hack the Winston? Do you try and hack some of the front line? Makes the decision-making much tougher.
That's the EMP coming out there. Moth and Space both effective, but Sinatra still able to stand tall. Dashing back to his team, hoping to maybe catch XQC on the way through, but he's happy enough just being with his teammates for the time being. That's a rally, self-destruct thrown in. XQC wasn't born yesterday. Shield is up. He'll push forward a little bit now. Canada just need to regroup. Surefour had his translocator forced. He was low, but now he's ready to return.
This is where XQC can take advantage of Sinatra, though, with a big Earth Shatter. He knocks down Sinatra. He forces him into the corner. You know, the more experience of the Reinhardt players, but they don't get any kills off of it.
The sound barrier was well timed. Matt and the USA able just to weather the storm. Self-destruct thrown in the back from Canada, but it doesn't find anyone this time. Unsuccessful for Note, and Buddy's in trouble. Boomer's going to chase him down. The USA, oh, they're in control, all right. With 5% left, and they're pushing into spawn. They're going to make a statement early on in this series, and that is the first round of Oasis to the Stars and the Stripes.
A lot of mobility between Muma and Space. And then if they try and just plow through the front, you have Sinatra playing the Reinhardt. All he has to do is swing at that time because you have hydration there as the Brigitte. It's not as easy in some of the previous games where Canada has just run, you know, whether it's Ryan with the Diva and they've just kind of run through, or whether it's Ryan Zarya. You need to mix it up a little bit where they potentially, I think, you're trying to force Surefour off of this Sombra. Let's see how they change things up though in this next point.
Personally, I think Moomin was sick of being the subject of 80% of the enemy team's crowd control abilities and said, Sinatra, how about you do it? I'm going to jump over the top after they stun you and do my thing.
Well, it allows Muma and Space to kind of play their own game and go for the supports in the backline. So Agilities will bring out his Pharah here. You'll have Crimzo be playing the Mercy in this situation with Bonnie on Lucio. Hydration will be playing Sombra for Team USA. You'll have Sinatra playing Tracer.
All right, Tracer, Sombra dive from the United States. Rumor takes up residence in that center column. See how he forces that translocator out? He can actually push ahead. Batting falls down. Moth not far behind him either. Just to remove XQC, and my God. I tell you what, Matt, the USA are bringing some unprecedented aggression here, in Canada definitely seem to be a little bit shell-shocked.
And it's really fun to watch Muma get to play this aggressive, because the Outlaws really didn't play that style of play during the regular season. A little bit slower pace of play.
Just more methodical in general, really.
Yeah, but you always saw Muma like almost like a Mondo a little bit, like on these like kind of flanks, like coming around a little bit. It's good to see him, you know, land these nice Winston leaps where he comes in, turns his body, boots people back towards his teammates. Really nice play from Muma.
Sinatra just got headshot by Surefour on the high ground, and then McCree started to make his mark. Hydration was caught there. That's not something you're going to be able to recover from here. The United States are not toting a Mercy. Unlike Canada, no Resurrect available, and now we'll see the US just try and stall this fight out a little bit if they can, but Moomin doesn't quite escape. Pulse Bomb dropped in by Sinatra, he doesn't find anything. Raucous from a great distance is trying to use Biotic Orbs to have some sort of impact, but it's going to be a struggle. He will commit the Coalescence, though. The Moira digging deep into the pocket for that extra healing and damage. And over the top comes in that self-destruct. That was the EMP from Hydration. XQC gets caught out by that when he couldn't jump away. And Surefour has to respect the presence that the US have on the point.
And you can use that Coalescence if you're Raucous, because you have Space sitting up on the high ground, and he's just able to dart down, contest, and then you have both flankers with Hydration. Sinatra coming off the spawn is, see how aggressive they're going. That'll be Crimzo using a Transcendence in his spawn, just trying to keep everybody alive.
Just to try and avoid staggering out. Now the USA are really making a point of this. I mean, we've seen them clown around a little bit against other teams, but this is something completely different. Canada fundamentally need to try and get on the same level here. Switching off the Farragon to the Brigitte to the Surefour. McCree is just an excuse to dive at this stage. And now you see with that Primal Rage, and yes, a lot happening there. Just trying to create some space. Most importantly for the McCree and the rest of Canada, though, to set up on the point.
It was a really nice Primal Rage. You got Moth back into the corner. You forced Raucous back, denied them healing. Surefour trying to make the difference there. Misses that headshot on a Hydration. The point still in favor of Team USA, but Canada, they got 3 players there. They will flip it.
Canada have a chance now to take some breath, but that's about all they're going to have. And they need to use it wisely. The USA have kept them on the back foot for this entire map so far. And now Canada are starting to lean into this Brigitte-based composition featuring McCree. You can see that Brigitte is mostly intended to protect the back line, as Note and XQC are often going to be trying to dive. We'll do some of that themselves, deal with this Sombra. You've got very much an anti-Sombra comp in Brigitte and McCree. EMP. No, it's not going to happen. Hydration tries to go for it. He almost gets it off, but it's interrupted midway through and he's stunned. And now there's a Deadeye for sure for the USA. They're done. They're not having any of it.
With how big of a difference maker EMP is, that is such a huge play there from Team Canada. Able to take out Hydration. We can take a look. Replay here from Surefour.
He sees him.
The reaction.
The animation began, but it didn't proc. 99% to 50 now. Canada are halfway up. Here comes a dive in. Sinatra just holding the high ground. Doesn't want to get too aggressive. Wants to try and kick that presence, but Agilities wants to shove him off. Then the Brigitte can drop down and start stunning from behind. Surefour again, just trying to keep his enemy at arm's length, but Muma took a big hit from that Deadeye, and the follow-up was good. No desuited now. Self-destruct, wants his mech back, and he will get that one. Surefour protecting him with the Peacemaker. USA running out of presence here, Matt.
Well, it's big. They use that self-destruct to be able to get in and res XQC. He's got Primal Rage to use as well. And right now it will be Canada taking the point back. You did have Sinatra there up on the high ground. He gets back towards the rest of his team, but the self-destructive note, you place it right over by XQC's body. Everybody from USA has to run away. They don't want to try and contest that as Bonnie gets the res off. So you get your Winston back in the fight.
Hydration. Fool me once, shame on me.
Not again.
Fool me twice, also shame on me. He has that EMP. He's very close to Surefour. He's asking for it, but here's the dive. So he goes in. Actually hasn't revealed himself yet. I think he was happy with the disengage. He gets himself a big EMP. This time it works out. And Space removes Agility from the mix. Now the Brigitte's not there to stun up any of the divers. The USA has one, however, and Sinatra now interrupting notice. He tries to get towards the back line of the USA. That's a Deadeye. You heard it ring out across the map, and he held it for long enough. Hydration goes down to Surefour at extreme range. And now Canada have the high ground, Luke. Raining damage down.
And this one, it looks like it will go over to Canada, Mitch. Moss gets on the point. He will fall. And you know what? We don't see it during that whole engagement there towards the end. XQC keeps that alive for Canada. Because what happens is that self-destruct comes in and they use the Transcendence over on the other side. On the opposite side of the map, it's Raucous, Moth. You have Space there as well, and then there's one other player, and XQC stays alive long enough, gets antied, uses Primal Rage, knocks those players back, it allows them to get the res off, and then they're able to stay alive all through that. That's a huge play from their Winston.
That timing as well from Crimzo, just in time to use that Transcendence. That was also a huge factor. Canada managing to hold on. It's very, very difficult. You're always on edge when you're playing against an opposition Sombra, especially when you've tracked her at about 100% ult.
So what Canada's got right now, this is some kind of variation. You remember, I believe it was the London Spitfire in the finals. They ran Fury, who was their off tank on the Soldier 76, and they played Prophet on Reaper. So a little bit of a variation. You have the Brigitte in the mix here.
Yeah, it's triple support with just a single tank.
But Reaper has that passive healing by putting down damage, and the Soldier 76 as well.
So yeah, you expect a lot of those healing resources to be dedicated to Surefour. No playing over the high ground on that Soldier 76, and Sinatra just gets splattered early on. Looks like both of these teams have got some special spice to bring into this match.
So, you know, we were joking with Note before he went out there. We saw him play his Zenyatta. He's like, hey, gold damage, man. I can play whatever. Coming out here on the 76. He does get jumped on by Space, taken out, but it'll be Canada in control of the point first. And it's so important to get control of this specific point first. We see it, you can hold on to it for so long. So many good places to just extend the time on it as Hydration will play Pharah. So I think that's the right move. You want to challenge Note, an off-tank player playing hit scan right now. See if he can shoot a Pharah out of the sky as good as Hydration.
Canada making nary a sound. Crimson's hoping for a right-click opportunity. Oh, here we go. They're getting aggressive, but Agilities took a lot of damage early on. Hydration actually made them think twice about making this engagement. They were a little bit split. With Muma dealing with Crimzo now, that's a Zenyatta missing. They do have two more supports, but not a lot of healing left. Surefour gets turned into an edgelord pancake as Muma descends. And now Hydration can follow up here with as much damage as possible. Numbers definitely favoring the USA right now. And a lot of time being bought by XQC. The USA retake the point. And this monkey, well, he's not long for the world.
Yeah, and he jumps a little bit too high there, and it allows him to take the point back as Bonnie not able to get back and contest. Hydration being very aggressive. And you see right away, Canada switches off of it. Note will not play the 76 anymore. He'll go back and play some Diva as you bring Surefour's McCree in.
19% to 47, so huge start for Canada there. And They were hoping for something. They grouped up as that death ball. But now big switch is coming out. McCree here for short, but Batty just gets disintegrated immediately though. Crimzo still good timing with the Transcendence, but it wasn't quite quick enough this time around. Muma had to use the Primal Rage, also the sound barrier. USA digging deep for some of these ultimates here. They've got agilities, but Surefour face down Muma at 10 paces and removes him. Sinatra though wants to get aggressive. You know when you're playing with this man, you need to follow him into the deep. Bunny and Notes mech fall as USA set up now to even the score.
So they used Rocket Barrage. They ended up using their sound barrier and rally during that fight. You hold on to Primal Rage. You want to do that to be able to contest the point for even longer. As Agility still play his own power now. Crimzo will switch off of Zen. Gonna play Mercy here. Try and pocket in the sky, but you do have Bonnie's sound barrier. Could be big coming in on a push. You see a lot of the players from USA not holding on to that armor used from the rally as Sinatra.
A bird in the hand is, or two in the bush. Especially up against another Farah composition on this map. You need to try and exercise that height advantage. Bunny gets just splattered there by that Primal Rage for the USA. They started off this fight well. They did dig through a lot of their remaining ultimates, but it's worked out for them now. It's everyone into the traffic. I feel like Note does want to stagger, but doesn't want to die to traffic here. Let it be done.
Surefour making a change here late over to Sombra, but then Muma in space, every opportunity they had when he was playing McCree, jumped right on top of him. Gonna see the Agility's Doomfist. They gotta get in and touch here.
There's no time. There's no time. And the United States will hold. That's the map one. For the US. We did see a little bit of back and forth, Matthew. Obviously, that second stage for Canada looked good. You can see, you know, maybe a little bit of relief on the faces of the US, but they know they were pushed in that particular round.
That was much, you know, Rockets' space there towards the end makes it seem like it was easy. That was much closer than I think he probably expected it was. I think I expected this match to be very, very close. But really good compositions from both teams. You'd expect that, you know, with the mind games between the two great coaches that they have with Jane for Canada, Arrow for Team USA. But right there, USA comes out on top, map number one.
It seems like Canada's sort of Soldier 76 and Reaper approach kind of started to fizzle out there, obviously through that last map. I feel like when being faced down by a Farah, yes, you know, hit scan heroes have less fall off at longer ranges now, but trying to play Reaper into a Farah composition seems pretty difficult.
It was, I mean, they did get the point first with it, right? I mean, they were able to get capture progress on the point first. The issue is once they lost it, then they had to switch off of that to something else. That didn't work. Then you had to switch agilities off of his Brigitte over to Farah. Then that didn't work. So then you had Doom. You never really got a great group of ultimates again. Where Team USA, they lost the first fight, made one change, and then they came back, and that was it for the rest of the game.
It was interesting with that composition that Canada had at the start of that last round after they took the point, because the USA moved in and they spread out. They said, we know they've got a Reaper. We know there's a 76, so let's split between high ground, low ground. Let's just really get apart. And it was very, very hard for Canada to sort of, you know, as six go, we get this target, go and get this target, and so on and so forth. Kings Row, no surprises really to see this map come up at this point. And this is what you should expect, something a bit spicier. Because both these teams are going to be so familiar with this map that they would have had time to work on some extra approaches to it as well.
I'd also say, no, we saw it from their perspective, but when Canada was hiding around that corner, and Hydration actually just shot a rocket down there and it got some splash damage, that ruined all of Canada's plan.
Agilities was down to 20 health.
Yeah, because what they were going to do is they were going to let Team USA get on the point, then speed boost behind them and get right in their face with the Reaper and totally negate anything the Farah could have done. So Hydration, that's probably just a spot check. Just fire some rockets over there, see if you hit anything. Didn't expect everybody from Canada to be around that corner.
And he would have just seen like a maximum size, you know, white hit marker. So
yeah,
you know, he would have been like, that could either be a direct hit, but because he didn't see the target he hit, he probably assumed it was.
You probably assume it's just Reaper in that situation. Reaper waiting for like an easy flank kill, like a headshot in the back of the squishy is like a Tracer's trying to flank around the back. Not the whole team.
The US will start on defense here, and the composition, maybe not too shocking. It is, I mean, maybe the Zen I find a little bit interesting here, but, you know, I understand, you know, Raucus wanting to play that high ground. I feel like we see less of Widow on this particular map now, especially with the more tank-based compositions, the you know, presence of the Doomfist and Sombra. Obviously, Sombra gives Widow a lot of problems if Sombra can get up close. So, you know, in some cases, we normally see like maybe like a Lucio Anik.
Yeah, you may only be running the Zen because you want to some respect over to Agility's as far as skills. Get a Discord on him and have space just kind of harass him in the sky a little bit, but They have Sherpor on the Summer XQC playing Winston. Bonnie just going to get a look out. As they're going to play
Mercy Zen.
They're going to play Mercy Zen. So this is a support combo. We don't see that much anymore. It looks like potentially Bonnie going back change. It's probably going to be Ana. Yep, so Ana Zen here.
From both sides. Obviously, Barney can obviously do much more from far away with this particular pick. Space gets hacked. Canada, yeah, they push in now. The dive is on. Node also got hacked up, by the way, so both of the Sombras really having an impact, but Raucus goes down early. It is dangerous to bring his Zenyatta onto the high ground here, but XQC pays for it with his life. It's a 5v5 now. Agility's very close to a Dragon Blade with all the shurikens he's been throwing up close, and Sinatra is also missing. Now, Canada can walk in here and know that there's not really that one-shot potential present on that USA roster. Agilities can control the high ground. He can blade if he needs to. It's a strong position. There definitely will be a recontest, though.
Yeah, it's going to be Muma getting the benefits of a nano boost as he goes in deep. Agility's now going to use his Dragon Blade. Both Sombras down from either side. Agilities doesn't get anything with that Dragon Blade there.
Yeah, US just trying to take cover inside his building right now, and they've given over a tick to Canada. They're going to have to push out eventually. Sinatra tries to get sneaky from the backline, and it's worked. Bunny's down. Those biotic grenades now no longer a threat, but Canada are going to come forward with the Transcendence, and Moth is hoping to get a bio of his own into that. Moving with Primal Rage. Meteor Strike drops down. Nice little bubble placement there, mitigating a lot of Sinatra's radiating damage from that ability, but he can't get away. It's another one-for-one trade. It's a scrappy affair if I've ever seen one. But the US still have 5 players up. Hydration narrowly winning that duel against Agilities.
He has some ultimates to work with here if you're Canada. EMP, self-destruct. We've seen them do so many combos between Sherpor and Note throughout the weekend. I fully expect them to try and land something here, but everybody's going to be up on the high ground as XCC's trying to work his way up there. He did get a pick onto Raucus a little bit earlier. He's going to get up to the high ground yet again. Has Primal Rage to live through it this time.
EMP, Bunny tries to go for the sleep dart, doesn't connect it, and unfortunately he gets hacked up. Sinatra finds both supports on his own, stripped of their abilities, and obviously their life force after that. 3 kills for the Doomfist. And again, another messy fight in which, you know, the USA have some casualties incurred, but still holding strong for the time being.
We'll take a look at Sinatra's POV. You get these players, you know, the squishies without any of their abilities, you lump them up. Then Doomfist can do a lot of work. Is you do have nano boost here for Bonnie.
Sinatra just came back for the US. He's back with his team. Oh dear. Oh, he saw it! Cheeky! Sure yeah, has the translocate out there. That's a good opening for the USA. It means it's harder to get that EMP onto as many targets now. Agility's into the back line. Surefour finds Sinatra here, and Hydration's down, so now it's just a one Sombra affair, but Space drops in over the top. Moth, that was beautiful from Moth. Fantastic Bionade and a finish on XQC. Honestly, the US weren't in a great spot there. If Moth doesn't get that double, Surefour comes in, EMPs them back into the 1910s.
Now Note still demeched. Has to just wait to get this Diva mech back. Under a minute to go here. You're gonna have a Nano Blade for Team Canada. Got that Transcendence as well. Look to see if Sherpor can hit this EMP and connect with Raucus. No Transcendence plus a Nano Blade. Do you think that closes this point out for Canada?
Tough on them so far. Muma has to bubble himself. Doesn't want to be hacked in that position. He runs forward. It's going to be a reactive EMP from Sherpor. Now, Raucus is still safe in the back line, but it doesn't matter. He hasn't committed Transcendence to this fight. It might have been a problem because Moth is now missing. Agilities gets a nice little Bionade, and Crypto's down in the back line after it came out of Transcendence. How are the USA turning this around? They've still got some plays, but they need to get back to the point. It's a 4v3 situation for the US. They need to return and reclaim this space. Self-destruct here, Sinatra can't quite get away. Note with the micro rockets dealing with space to make movement with 2. Beautiful stuff with the Primal Rage, and now Hydration's returned to the fight. The US hold on. Oh, it was a scrappy affair indeed. But as the smoke clears, it's still a full hold.
Canada just not able to use those ultimates that they've been so good at comboing throughout this tournament. You see Sinatra's Doomfist play, man. Comes in, gets both supports. Does get hacked at that time. It's just him, Space, and Hydration up. And they're able to extend that fight, keep it in US's favor. They look to be in a good position here, Mitch, to go up 2-0.
I was discussing with some of the players earlier on. Obviously, in the past, you know, Mercy used to be able to sort of res multiple people, sometimes a whole team at a time, and it was sort of hard to sort of predict how a team fight goes when you think about it as a caster. Here it's quite similar because it's very easy for individuals like, you know, Doomfist or Hammond to some degree, even Sombra, to get those multi-kill scenarios very consistently, right? This is what happened though. Look at how close that contest bar was. Muma gets nano boost and sent in 2 kills there. Note and XQC both balling. Note had just ejected from his mech. And obviously, on this particular patch as well, Winston hits pretty hard. He landed from the jump and then got a punch ability, so a lot of burst there. We can ask Muma sort of how he went about that if we have a chance, but yeah, Winston very good right now.
So really smart heads-up play. I know, speaking with Team USA, they really like the way Moth calls the games. You know, he kind of fits in, he kind of described it himself as like, just kind of fits his calming to whatever the team is not calming. So just kind of taking into account what everybody's saying, what needs to be said that's not being taken account for.
Crazy, he's so self-aware, right?
Yeah.
About how he fits into a team's comms, which again, for some of these younger players, always impresses me so much that they've got so much, you know, awareness and presence of mind. That's why he's out here, I guess, representing his home country. Oh, Canada. Needs to be a full hold here from them.
It'll be the Sinatra Reinhardt again. So we saw it on the first map. Expected to see a little of it this weekend. Didn't expect to see it in a match that is so meaningful, but...
All right, obviously, Anna now replacing Moira, who is often that 3rd supportive choice. Dropping it on the top there is the USA, but they're taking their time. Now they're sort of below this setup of Canada, which is definitely going to make the Canadians a little bit nervous. They're going to have to back up and give some of this high ground away to the US. Muma, oh, he's lurking. He's actually running to 2 plays. If he can get short for it, big. He's got the Orb of Harmony on him there. Muma at 2 health. He doesn't get away. Oh, he was looking for it. He needed a punch, a quick melee to finish the job. On the ground, though, Sinatra's found XQC, so both teams are lacking main takes, and this is going to be a very important riptide. It drops in. It's two supports as well for agilities. That's going to stem the bleed for the time being.
You still have Sinatra on the point, though, here with Muma in space. You got these big tanks. Space currently demexed. Note's going to have to use the Delta Shock, throw it up in the sky.
Okay!
Crimzo, though, with 3. Canada, hold on. Not a tick there for Team USA. Some changes right away. So you move off of the Sinatra Reinhardt. So he will play Genji now. Looks like he's going back to the spawn, potentially even changing it again. It's, okay, so Sinatra will play Wrecking Ball here. So you're going to have...
We love to see it. Geronimo! Oh, actually gets moved back. Was that the hold that perhaps pulled Sinatra away from the high ground? Now he feels a bit sheepish, man. Sets himself up on the point and says, well, I'm here now. May as well do something. Muma very low, forced to back away. Credit to Space for diligently following the Winston and keeping him alive. Give me them darts, fam. High ground. You can see the Hammonds in the background trying to do some work. But XQC, very hard to shift on the point. The Orisa's not going anywhere. Muma, though, Primal Rage, this is where it could get a little bit scary. The Transcender's popped on the high ground by Crimzo. And Muma says, no, we're not giving your team the rest of this healing. Now I'm going to chase you down. And Muma's spending his whole time in the backline being the aggressor here. Probably a nice change for him over what he's been playing this weekend. Sinatra gets out to cannons, finishes the job on towards XQC, and Shortfall now's in a bit of trouble. Trying to dog dodge and dive away. It won't be enough. Note sitting on the point here, getting hacked immediately. He can't do a thing except fire the auto cannons, and now in desperation, Canada throw themselves at the point to try and at least have a presence there. But an EMP seems to just be for good measure. Shortfall sleeping on the job. He probably wants to close his eyes. He doesn't want to see any of this. And Canada, yeah, they really could try and approach the point, but I'll be honest, there's not much reason to do so. There's mines in the way. There's a lot of angry Americans, and that's going to be the map.
Map number 2. Over to Team USA as well. Sinatra's shown a lot of flexibility this time. Muma brushed his shoulder off, but man, we've seen Sinatra play Tracer, Doomfist, Reinhardt, Wrecking Ball. A lot, didn't expect to see that from Sinatra this weekend, but I know I kind of said it to you this morning, you know, when we were coming in, like, you know, seeing him in the team meetings and whatnot, just like, it seems like a much more confident player, just much more sure of himself than he was during the Overwatch.
Seems way more grounded as well. You know, when he first came in, he's like, "Get it, I got my ears on, I'm gonna play some Overwatch." Still much the same, of course, but he has definitely calmed down a lot more. Maturity really is something that I credit to him and a lot of his teammates on the San Francisco Shock, especially on this particular team as well. That was a lot of fun to see. You see Muma there was feeling pretty chill. I definitely want to hear what was going on in the Canadian camp, and for that, we're going to head down to the stage and hear from Malik and Jane.
Thank you very much, Mr. X. I'm here with Arrow and Jane, the respective head coaches of Team USA and Team Canada. We just saw the first half. Right now, Team USA is up 2-0. So we're going to start with you, Arrow. How are you feeling about how the match is going so far? Were you expecting to be up 2-0?
Definitely expecting to be up 2-0. This is playing right into our hands. Exactly what we were planning.
And Jane, you know, on the other side of that, how are you feeling about how the match is going so far?
I feel like we could have taken Oasis, and just some unfortunate happenings on Kings Row there prevented us from moving into the second and third points there. But we've got them figured out now, and we'll be coming back for the reverse sweep, no problem.
All right. Were you expecting some of the compositions that you saw there early on, and especially at Kings Row in that last defense?
It's actually kind of funny because we scouted everything that Team USA was going to do perfectly. So nothing has surprised us yet, but unfortunately there's only 2 teams right now in the current competitive meta that play that composition, Fusion University and Team USA, and we weren't able to scrim either. And you know, practice makes perfect. Didn't have enough practice against those compositions. So we scouted correctly, but now that we're seeing exactly how USA is playing them, I think we can adapt.
All right, and Arrow, for you, man, what is it that you feel has kind of elevated you guys to the top so far in this game?
I think the biggest thing is that we're super adaptable with what we can run. You know, that was the whole point with the roster that we put together and how we practice coming up to this, was that we can adapt on the fly, and that's our thing. And so we're rolling with the punches. Every match we've done up to this point was showing that we can do that. We can run any comp, and we can stomp everybody with it.
Woo, spicy. All right. Well, last thing for you two, you guys during the regular season of Overwatch League next year will be teammates, but how's it being against each other here? Is there any rivalry between you two? Any bad blood between you two?
Oh, there's no bad blood, but you know what? It's definitely a challenge. I think both of us are putting everything we've got on the table. You know, it's a chance to test ourselves against the best. So, yeah, we're going for it, and may the best man win.
I hear it. Nero, I'll let you reply to that as well.
Yeah, no, I think it's super fun. I mean, this is, you know, a really good way to kind of bring Jane into fuel going into the next season. So it's a really fun thing just to kind of get everyone used to it. So
I feel like this is building team synergy right here, believe it or not, right? Well, yo, guys, you guys ready for the second half? Yeah? First half was awesome, and we're gonna get into that second half when we come back to you guys after the break.
The Overwatch World Cup is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's fastest network ever, and by Omened by HP, the official PC of the Overwatch World Cup.
They don't just play for a team. They play for every fan, every rival, every moment, every match. And when everyone watching expects the best, they perform with the best.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, for the match of the weekend. And, you know, I actually feel like there's almost an allegory in here somewhere. Let's take a team like, I know you don't know what that word is, I'll explain it. There's a team from Brazil, right, that comes, and they're the top in Brazil, but they don't get experience sort of against other top teams globally, so they don't really know what to expect. But Canada and USA, they've both been so dominant in this tournament, they actually don't know how they stack up against each other at all. So coming into a game like this, you know, James might be like, yeah, we're going to clap them or whatever. And now they're 0-2 down, and they're thinking, where are we really in the grand scheme of things?
Especially with how Jane described it, is that they knew that Team USA was going to play some of these comps, but they never really got a chance to practice against it or against people who ran similar comps because they just couldn't.
Because no one else was doing that?
Because nobody else was scrimming those. So, you know, you could tell another team like, hey, run this comp, but if they never run it before, they're probably not going to be good at it. So it's tough to game plan against. I think, no, especially if they come out with the Reinhardt, Winston, Diva combination again. Then you probably need to play like, even like, you could play like Diva Hagen, but just kind of like, play like really like, you'd even play Hanzo into that, right? Junkrat, like a lot of different things that could do a ton of burst down.
Well, it's weird because Winston normally gets out of like, left out of like the many tank compositions, right? The one team I remember that used to play him was Ninjas in Pajamas in their quad tank comp. And the Winston was the last tank that they would tack on.
Like a 500 HP Tracer kind
of. Well, you could see it that way. But other than that, normally in like tank heavy compositions, Winston just doesn't get to see play. But his mobility actually gives the USA another option for, you know, putting pressure on the back line instead of just the enemy tanks. So, you know, we've been theory crafting about it in the break. It's super interesting. You know, what about Hog, Junkrat, Orisa? There's an answer there, perhaps?
Doomfist. They didn't run Doomfist in that map.
They didn't. Canada. They didn't. They did try and match the Sombra usage, but...
And then they played a Brigitte.
They did.
Probably to try and prevent, you know, the dive from Muma into the back line. But something kind of similar. Wrecking Ball, Winston, Diva on defense. We saw Team USA do this earlier in the tournament. I believe it was to Austria. They kind of spawn killed them. And when I say kind of spawn killed them, they were in front of their spawn doors swinging around.
It was, I believe, by definition, spawn killing them.
I believe I tweeted after that that match was super unclose.
Yeah. That is also, that would be correct by definition. On defense here, I mean, yeah, we know the Wrecking Ball on defense here is not the first time we've seen it. Plopping on in there, getting big knockups. Getting that disruption is a great way to go. Both teams are going to be looking to get their Sombras in positions to harass, to harangue, and to otherwise limit the freedom of enemy backlines.
Canada will have a good idea what they're running now. Agility gets caught out. They've trapped them in the corner here. X2C does get Moth though, so maybe if they're able to reset here quite early, Canada, you can come back with another push.
US has to stagger out Canada now to buy themselves enough time for Moth to return. Fortunately, obviously, Lucio very mobile. Moth's just spawned up, so he will probably get there in time. Top 4 damage dealers, Team Canada players. That could also, it also says a little bit about how much health the enemy team has as well. Still worth keeping in mind. Rourke is close to the nano boost here. Moth is back with the rest of his team. It's a 6v6 once more.
They go over to the Brigitte here instead of Genji, so we'll see how long they switch on this. So Muma probably wanted to jump up onto the high ground. Hit that little lip there. But he's now waiting for the engage.
Yeah, I mean, he gets himself an nano boost here as well, so he's like, can I force ultimates here? Can I force cooldowns out? Can I lay the path for the rest of my team to get here? Getting hacked that late is kind of bad for him because he can't use Primal Rage, but it don't matter because there's no one left. Even Moth got in there. The boop on agilities. And suffice to say that a message has been delivered.
So now you still hold on to the Primal Rage, self-destruct. The minefield, the Wrecking Ball, right? You can deny a whole area. So you see Hydration making the calls there. It's behind enemy lines. Team communicating everything there. It's going to be the mines coming down.
Sinatra, I like that he used the mines at the apex of his flight mat because they drop down as a cone. The higher up you drop them, the further apart they spread when they hit the ground. Note getting desuited there. Should really be enough to get the job done. Muma might not actually get out safely. You can see that, yeah, Space is trying to protect and keep him alive. He even had Primal Rage there, but didn't really feel like he needed to use it.
It's, well, Canada, smart plays from a few of their players, actually just ran right back into the spawn, got the healing from being back in the spawn, and then came back out. Big EMP here for Surefour.
Now Surefour gets onto the back line. Moth and Raucus most crucially getting hacked up there. XQC now following up himself, and Space is in deep trouble. Can't quite get away to his mech. And he will remove the Diva entirely. Hydration, the next one to fall. The USA just had a team tactical crouch on XQC in their previous fight. He's bringing that revenge back. Gonna be a drop in for Sinatra now. Muma has the primal rage. He gets the translocator. That presence of mind to make sure that Shortfall couldn't get back out. And now they can really try and wipe the floor with Canada. But will that be the case? Crimzo returns fire on Raucus, and XQC fights yet another one. Supports struggling for the US. And Agility's now swinging that flail. Canada will get point A.
I mean, XQC there on the first point. 6 of Canada's 9 final blows there. Doing a nice job just jumping onto these players. I think what Team USA has done is made it frustrating for him to play, you know, that aggressive style of play, which that's how he plays the best as a player. Now he's got Primal Rage moving in. Surefour in position. He does get a hack on a Moth here, so not going to be able to speed to the rest of the team.
I like the positioning from XQC, though. He actually just sort of jumped midway between the two halves of the USA to try and split them up a little bit, and it's worked. Look who's sitting in the moat here. He's going to force the translocation from Hydration, who has that EMP. He's going to want to use it. Look how split the US are! Canada just getting right in between them now. The divide and conquer approach seems to be working. Big charge. That's a connection from Uber. He picks up Agilities on the way through, but the Magic School Bus probably doesn't have much fuel left in it now. No, it does not.
It's a good offense there from Canada. They were stopped early, but they're able to come back in this one as and they take point A, and then on their first real attempt to take point B, they're able to take the point. Hell of a charge there from Muma out of the spawn on Agilities. Like, probably didn't intend to get him, but
I mean,
halfway across the map.
In stall scenarios, you know, getting it insta pick or like 100-0, bursting an opponent down is the only way you can sort of really get back into the fight. You need to obviously out-trade in damage in those
I mean, that's why you see Doomfist all the time in those light scenarios where you want to be able to just get back onto the point, get those one-shot kills, and that's what he's the best at. So what does Canada do on defense? I think a lot of that is kind of predicated by what they expect Team USA to run on offense. One thing they probably won't expect is Team USA to run like a Widowmaker. None of the players on their team really, you know, Widowmaker players, unless you count Space's performance from the All-Star game.
Raucus with the occasion.
Raucus could play. I mean, yeah, we have seen Raucus play like Widowmaker, 76, Hog in the past. So I guess you can't count that out. But if I was Canada, I would not be expecting any type of Widowmaker play here. Right. I'm expecting a really. If I was Canada, I'd be expecting either triple tank or some variation of like a dive with the Sombra, whether it be Trace or Genji Doomfist.
Attackers incoming.
And you'd be right by the looks of things. Still, I mean, you can see Canada, I mean, rolling out with this Brigitte here in a 2-2-2 composition, right? Actually, no, 3 support still, just a 1 DPS. So still, but they bring the Brigitte at the outset here, so they're kind of definitely expecting to be dived or to need that extra CC pure for their backline. Canada now setting up a very respectable time, 4 minutes and 10 seconds after a very slow start. Good snowball, they managed to exploit a weakness that the USA demonstrated. Now, it's time for the United States to fire back. Moth knows someone's behind, interrupts the hack, forces Shortfall to get out.
Yeah, and you see, you can't hack that health pack before the round starts, so to get the better advantage, you translocate back and then hack it instead of doing it the other way around. As XQC's moved into the choke. They actually have hydration. Ooh, almost dead there. He did get stunned by Agility. He's just not able to put down enough damage.
Yeah, Bunny even threw a biting grenade into the mix. It was pretty close. Hydration now is going to come in from the right-hand side. Bunny doesn't quite connect that slick dart. Trying to block the door with XQC to protect both these supports, but now they need to transition to the point. Shortfall's able to get away with the translocator for the time being, and Muma's down. Canada doing a great job of collapsing on their own backline, protecting them, and now the tanks have a chance to come forward. Sinatra hits the wall as he tries to dash out, but he will get to safety.
That was a really nice play from Agility's and note there. Surefour actually gets hacked by Hydration, so can't use his translocator, can't stealth. Agilities gives over the armor pack, heals him up again, and note there to soak up some of the damage. And Muma wanted that kill so bad, dove all the way into the back. Agilities ends up helping Surefour take him out.
2 minutes 45 left. Comes the nano boost now. Sinatra. Where's the Dragonblade going to go here? The USA are a little split. Their tanks are kind of on the point, or a couple of their players are on the point. Muma's like, guys, where are you? He was playing on the high ground above Agilities there.
Yeah.
But the rest of his team got caught inside the door.
Hydration out of stealth was trying to draw people back to the point, but they just had Agilities just sit like on the opposite corner of the point away from them. They just had to stare down. I mean, Hydration doesn't want to go in and try and kill the Brigitte. He's going to get stunned, killed right away, so they're able to get nothing out of that.
Short holding his nerve. He actually hasn't translocated out yet. He goes for the EMP. Now the USA at least have a decent chance to disengage, but they were still half a step inside Canada's base, so they lost 2 plays. 3, in fact, as XQC chases.
And it actually could have been worse for Team USA. Canada could have used that self-destruct in the choke, but Note actually gets hacked by hydration right before. So to be Agility's using Rally here, typing everybody out on armor. It's a huge fight for Team USA, Mitch. They have a ton of good ultimates to combo here. They use a lot of these and don't win it. They could be looking at a first point hold.
Is Nano Boost? Yeah, likely a Simeon recipient. Moving out. Getting himself up there. Sinatra. He's the one, in fact. Doesn't opt to go for the Dragon Blade here. There's not any really options presenting themselves right now, but he's hoping to try and make use of this. But look at Canada. Perfect disengagement back to the high ground. Playing close together. Sinatra's not going to get much done. He needs some backup, but there's the peel right on time in space. Now it's time for the Dragon Blade to force the Transcendence at the very least. Sinatra realizes discretion would have been the better part of Bella there. Forcing his Zen ultimate is good, but the USA have made no further progress on this point.
Oh, it was a big-time play from Bonnie. So they send Muma into the back line, and he uses the Primal Rage, gets up to the high ground, and Bonnie actually hits a Sleep Dart. And then even better, Note flies up with Diva, just drops the self-destruct right next to a sleeping Muma, and they pick up the kill that way. So really heads-up play from those 2 players on Canada. Hydration now will play Doomfist. You're going to have Sinatra play Brigitte. So you put away the Sombra here for Team USA.
I feel like this is the no messing sort of setup here. Maybe a bit of respect from the USA now. They realize the need to try and capture the point. Fanny, safe and sound in the backside, and Sinatra, the complete opposite after the micro rockets come thudding into him. XQC will be the doorman here. And yes, Hydration can get a knockback, but XQC, if he needs it, he's got the Primal Rage. Canada looking so comfortable, and there's 12 seconds left in the round. The US barely have time to amass 6 players before this round will be over.
EMP and Primal Rage available as well. XQC does get slept on the bridge. He gets woken up. That's the big EMP that comes in from Surefour.
Oh, unbelievable! 3-man self-destruct, and now the USA are going to push on further. As XQC down, Note's going to get de-suited here, and somehow, someway, Note comes up with the answer. He bails his team out. The Canadian Houdini. There was space, creating some. I wonder if Houdini was American. Either way.
You'll have Team USA.
I got excited.
You'll have Team USA take the point here. So XQC still a Primal Rage. Muma has his now, though. The hydration picks up 1, and Muma gets on the point. You're going to be able to use the Primal Rage. Sinatra getting the Nano Boost. Yep. Team USA trying to set a good time of their own.
They're going to try and roll it out here. Sinatra hits that shield bash. Backing away on the point here. Surefour and XQC are on the left. Note banning Crimzo on the right. So they are going to have to try and sandwich the USA somehow. Meteor Strike. This can close off one avenue of approach, but Crimzo definitely gets out of the way. Does not want to be destroyed in 1 hit on Hydration. Yeah, looks like they might be a little bit out of gas at this stage. Hydration comes up with very little.
And it was Surefour who actually hacked 2 players during that, and then XQC using Primal Rage, knocking players back constantly. That allowed them to stabilize. They do give up a tick, though. Space with another self-destruct. Don't want to see something like what just happened, man.
I got so excited I got him mixed up with his opponent. That's just how intense it was. I mean, the timing couldn't have been any better. They needed it there. He's got another, mate. You're right. Where does this go? No Sombra to set up anything with an EMP on the side of the USA. Canada, however, do have that. And the USA have to back out straight away.
And playing into the Sombra on defense is so difficult. It's, XQC returning the favor.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
Keeping the favor going is
Look, it's a gift that keeps on giving.
No, Sombra, even when she wasn't as strong as she is right now in the meta, was still really strong here on point B on Anubis. Makes it very difficult for teams to come in. Because when you want to play on the point, you're kind of forced to play in range of getting no 6-person EMP, where you can't really play outside of it.
Here comes the push again for the USA. 2 minutes left in the round. Vanny forced to back out real quick. Gets the sleep on towards Muma. But he gets a Primal Rage. Yes, someone kind of messed up the plan there. And now Muma can go back to causing problems for the back line of Canada. Geordie's drops into the backside elsewhere on the point. You've actually found Raucus there. Insta-gibbed him. That's exactly what Canada are looking for now. The 1-for-1 is there. Geordie's gets whip-shotted. And Hydration drops down. Doesn't quite know where to put himself, though. He's being pursued by Note. Note has to be careful. He could have got booped up against the wall in that spot, but now Note is behind enemy lines. The aggression from this Diva. And the USA, once again, have to back out.
And I know it's the second time they've nano boosted Crimzo during one of these fights. And I don't know if it's because they know a bunch of ultimates are coming through and they want to keep him alive with the damage reduction through all of it, or if Bonnie's just missing the target a little bit. But it does work out. You do keep your Zen alive. Gets closer and closer towards that Transcendence. Transcendence, EMP, and Stealth Destruct for this next fight, as not a lot of time left for Team USA, only a minute to go.
Agility's just trying to desperately get that easy pick to give the Canadian team a little bit of room to start the fight off here, but it's actually Sinatra going down fast! This time it's Notes! Can't get that one wrong, it's written on the kill feed. Once again, the USA get booted out.
That's the EMP self-destruct. They've been doing that all tournament long, not surprising there. We'll see how Team USA makes some changes potentially, try and get towards the end here, where, to be honest, with only 30 seconds left, you're about 70% sound barrier and nano. You don't switch off of that. You have rally, you're not switching off of this. It's really on hydration to get these picks.
The outplay on Movement was so real. First he gets booped away from his intended target on the high ground, then put to sleep. But Sinatra and Raucus both going down once again. The USA are bleeding supports and therefore bleeding their own health. Agility just holds on. Space in deep trouble. You need love to just drag this one out. Make it real painful for the US. As Team Canada look to make their way back into the series, and now it's just overtime. Hydration got bionated, and the rest of the team won't get there. Yes. Oh, yes.
We got
this is what we came for. And now we're getting the show.
But, Doomfist can be such a high-risk, high-reward hero. That time for Team USA doesn't work out. Hydration has one final blow the entire Temple of Anubis, 13 limbs, 11 deaths, and with Doomfist, you expect to see a lot of final blows because you're getting in there and you're just getting those potentially one-shot kills, or even have a high number of eliminations, right? Because you're using Seismic Slam, hitting a bunch of players, teammates are finishing them off. Didn't really get a ton of value out of the Doomfist, especially if you're going to run triple support with Doomfist as that solo DPS. You need to get some value.
Yeah, let's discuss that. Why did we see the US sort of make a switch to that particular composition? Was it that what we're trying to do is not working and this is more about default, or why do we see that Doomfist make an appearance?
Sombra has so much control over the map when you get to point B on Anubis from the defensive side, because you can get to all those health packs relatively easily, so you can't take advantage of those on the offense unless you win a fight and then you wait it out and you rehack them. But then at that point, you probably have taken the point if you're in that side of the map for that long. So you don't really get a ton of value out of the Sombra there. At that point, you're just trying to get picks early. So you have the Brigitte stun potentially killing the Sombra coming on the flank, the Brigitte stun against the Doomfist that Agilities was playing, and then your own Doomfist to potentially jump onto the point with Muma and he get a one-shot. But a lot of the times, they were not able to get that. Also, credit to Bonnie and Crimzo. A lot of times, Muma was able to get into that back corner.
And they just stopped him in his tracks.
Put a lot of good pressure on those guys, able to stay alive on through it.
Yeah, we saw that in that last play. Even Note was there. You see Muma jumps in, Note intercepts with that Diva Boop, knocks him down, and then he just slept immediately. He was nano boosted at that point as well. Rialto is where we get our fourth map of this series, and it may well not be the last, ladies and gentlemen. The Canadian crew have a chance to break back into this series.
Rialto is a map that both of these teams probably don't have a ton of run on outside of your general ladder games at home, right?
How
it's
interesting
not an Overwatch League.
15 maps in the pool, which is a lot. It's a huge amount for players to prepare for, and they picked the newest map.
Well, look, I mean, you have some contender players on both rosters. Zachary for Team USA, not in right now. Mangachu, Crimzo for Canada, so they've seen this map at competitive play. Maybe bring a little bit of a strategic advantage to their teams, get a few woos in the crowd. So, Canada, this has pretty much been their standard. If this doesn't work, Agility switches over to Doomfist or Pharah, and that's kind of been what they're rolling with. Maybe a little bit of Zarya. Team USA, they've been kind of all over the place with what they decide to run. You could run Wrecking Ball as like a main tank here if you would like. A lot of nice areas where he can grapple, go high off the high ground, come down with some big pile drivers.
Do we see Sinatra riding on this map?
I'm going to say no. I'm going to say we don't. I don't think you'll see that here.
See what the Tracer offers the USA then. Because, I mean, Sinatra does have to play that into an Agility's Brigitte here. There's definitely risk associated with that pick. Hydration, I mean, we talked about this map before. This map definitely gives some really nice sight lines to Pharah. You can get shots And then he can stay quite safe because the buildings obviously themselves are quite high. Just duck around corners, stay safe. And Canada playing real passive. They're playing just on the left side here. As hydration rounds the corner, you'll see the D.Va peek out. That's where they're not exposing themselves to really any poke damage at all, except leaving Fanny out in the open to try and pressure hydration.
It's interesting. So you have Bonnie playing in the courtyard, Crimzo playing on the high ground, and then Agilities is just standing like in between Crimzo and Bonnie, just flailing, potentially seeing if there's like a Sombra coming through, just trying to spot check there.
And Bonnie as well, just getting dart after dart into hydration, but he's been pocketed for much of this time with healing. Obviously, Moth keeping him healed up as a Mercy in Canada. Token resistance, if at all. Losing XQC forces them to pretty much pull out of this fight entirely. Maybe they'll get some resistance right here before they get the checkpoint. But that's about it.
This also forces Canada into some weird switches. We can talk about that in a second, but you have Sinatra falling. They're going to take advantage of Agilities, who's pushing up a little bit too deep. Hydration has gone completely unchecked here. XQC getting that nano boost, got to come up big.
And he does. He gets Moth to start the fight. That may even be enough in and of itself, but he ducks back to the payload and the rest of his team just to help out. And honestly, that fight starts off badly for the US when Sinatra gets hacked on the high ground and drops down directly into a Brigitte shield bash.
But here's what I think USA can do by running this Pharah, and if the Pharah makes an impact. Who plays hit scan on the side of Canada? You know, Agilities, we don't really see him play McCree, 76 Widow.
No.
You have to move off of Sombra at that point, which Surefour has been so good on Sombra.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Surefour play some McCree.
Well, which he'd have to be, but then you don't have, you know, the benefits of having all the scouting with the Sombra and playing around EMPs and whatnot, which is really how you've kind of constructed this team, or the way it looks like throughout the tournament. So,
and you're playing around this EMP. This is how, if you want Agilities to really charge quick ultimates, EMP is the way to start the fight. Nice Discord orb there on Moom, and that shut him down awfully quick. Every support ability got thrown at the Monkey Man, and he's down. Sinatra eats a big shuriken from Agilities, and keep an eye on that ultimate bar. He gets closer to that Dragon Blade, which will undoubtedly be important. Oh, it's troubled city for Moth right now. There's really no way he was going to get away from that. Yes, look at him, he's talking to him. Moth can't hear you, Felix, but we see it.
So now do you want to stay on this Pharah? I mean, I think this is what it comes to, right? Sinatra will play Brigitte here, so now you're going to put all your eggs in this basket of Hydration being able to put down enough damage. Right now, 25% of all Team USA's damage here. Such laying rockets on the flank.
These Agilities. Yeah, 80% to G-Blade after one fight. Really nice. That's getting that Genji into a relevant position very quickly. And again, it's scary for Raucus, or for Moth. Here it is, the Dragon Blade going in now. It's going to be Agilities finds two already, both supports! That's value! Just the Brigitte left, ready to worry about, and to be honest, he'd rather avoid her anyway. Transcendence brought forward as well by Crimzo, just to assist a little bit. They lost XQC early in the fight, but they make up some ground at least with the Genji. Still haven't got that checkpoint yet, man. That's the most important part. USA are still throwing themselves at this one, but Hydration gets shut down midway through his barrage and gets no result for the use of the ultimate. Agilities again steps back about halfway to another blade once more. Muma just getting chunked away and hacked. He can only walk away now, and he's definitely going to drop.
And XQC using his own Primal Rage. Self-destruct up in the eye. There for space. He only gets one with it. Note's going to drop his right by the payload.
1 for 1. Note does get a D-Mech. That's so important. Surefour does get a hack there on the low ground. I believe it was Sinatra. And Space is D-Mech. A chance for Canada to come back here, and the US only have 10 seconds to get that checkpoint. Trying to maintain some presence here, but it looks like, yes, the Canadians may have run out of gas until XQC return. Big EMP used there from Surefour. Going to make it hard for the US team to push up here. Raucus comes back on the Soldier 76 to try and make a difference, and he hits a big Helix rocket. That might be the change they're looking for. Crimzo on the bridge. He's low. Trying to throw himself off, but he didn't have enough time, and they get that checkpoint. United States just hanging in there.
Not pretty there, as you can see from Raucus's POV playing the Ana. See how difficult it is to deal with Primal Rage.
That's how XQC died.
Sleep dart there.
How did he... Okay. You sometimes you ask yourself with sleep darts, it's like, are they trying to hit that? I'll give Shane the benefit of the doubt. That was filthy.
So can they contain Agilities on Doomfist here? I'd like to see that as we go through this next phase of the map here.
Well, that might answer your question. He gets a little bit too close for comfort there, and now Movement being swept. I tell you what, Bunny and Raucus, teammates trying to outmatch each other on the same hero currently. And now Movement really just trying to sow some discord. Oh, Bunny, I guess he forgot his floaties this time around. And the US are building some momentum here, will continue to advance.
I mean, you don't mind this if you're Canada. They go through a Primal Rage and a rally. Surefour goes in deep. He doesn't even translocate out, probably trying to get some EMP charges. You will have Hydration's EMP here. Could be massive.
EMP, Crimzo just disintegrates, space follows up. Nice self-destruct there to ensure that the Ana is removed. And Surefour was always going to leave eventually. Hydration's backing up to the payload here. XQC could be in trouble. He'll get hacked, but he can still do a lot.
Canada can still fight this. Note there, too, with the self-destruct, and Canada going to pick up some kills from the back line. They're able to keep Crimzo alive long enough that he'll be able to use the Transcendence and follow up XQC.
Now, nothing from that self-destruct there. Amuma is put to sleep. Now, Agility returns to the fray, and, well, USA preemptively back up. They say, no, after losing our front line like that, we know we can't hang around. 43 seconds remain. The payload is rather close to that checkpoint. So one more fight for the US would have given it to them, but what are they working with here, Matt?
Yeah,
sound barrier?
But the sound barrier has got to come out before this EMP. You can't have that support go to waste here if you're USA, because really the only thing you got to work with right now.
Is this the end of the line for the United States? Perhaps not. Sinatra opens up with an early pick on Agilities, who died with his Meteor Strike. But here's the EMP that Canada were looking for. Surefour gets it onto at least 4 players. Space is D-Mech. Moth crucially wasn't able to use his sound barrier, but now he can. It's going to be a hack coming from the USA this time, and they have all the goodies to work with. Canada already looked out of breath by that point in the fight, and the USA just mowed them down with superior ultimate usage. In overtime, they will get that second checkpoint, and they're far from done.
A minute and 29 to go through this last phase of the map, though. It's going to be pretty tough. I know. The defense for Rialto currently, I would say definitely the favorite team. One of the more defensive maps we have. You know, pushing inside here could be very difficult as Agility's hacked up, can't use any of his abilities there, so that's why you see him awkwardly standing in the corner.
Space there unintentionally actually revealing Surefour when he charged in there, which would have made it harder for him to have the impact he was looking for in that fight. Couple of kills, but again, Canada spawn so close, they can stream out, they can block line of sight with the pillars as they get out of spawn here. But that Transcendence, well, it just keeps them alive, really. They need to get some kills at Sinatra. That's what they were looking for.
And the payload wasn't moving there because Moth gets hacked by Surefour, and they just have a little bit of a 1v1 on the cart. So you get that one kill, you prevent any payload progress. Pretty fortunate there for Canada as they move off of Doomfist there. The final stage of the map.
That repair pack, very important. Nice response there from Sinatra. Although if Moth had died there, it would have been bad news indeed. So nano boost for Canada here. There's going to be an EMP for Surefour. And hydration. XQC, look at him on that right-hand side here, ready to respond in the back line. If he needs to, Surefour down. Canada needed him up. They needed that EMP, and now, yes, the US are going to try and press the advantage, of course. Primal Rage for Muma if he needs to try and close off this gap to Canada. But look at the entirety of the Canucks, they just have to back away, give a bit of space. Oh man, that's not what they wanted to happen at all. Both Sombras now.
EMP self-destruct in this close hallway for Canada.
Yep.
There's the,
he called it straight over the top. EMP's onto the back line of both teams, but neither ultimate's really yielding any kills at this stage. Muma though takes 2 for himself. The king of the jungle might just be this man. XQC looking dejected in the corner as another of his teammates are taken out, and that's 4 for Muma. The man is on a riot. They can't slow him down, and now he gets himself a nano boost. It's like a gift. It's an incentive, positive reinforcement for Muma. Good on you, mate. Keep going for the kills, they say. And the US get home. It looks so rough multiple times on this map. But Muma ends with 10 final blows. The next closest player on the US was Sinatra and Hydration with 6 apiece.
And I wonder if this is the clip. So yeah, Surefour actually gets the hack off onto space. But while that is happening, Hydration connects with the hack onto Surefour there. So that's why he was not able to use the translocator to get out at that moment in time. So the Rialto, like I mentioned, very defensive favored. Really difficult to finish the map. You saw how much Team USA struggled doing it. It barely got point A, barely got point B, ended up completing the map in overtime. So see if Canada can do any better.
It's tough for sure for there, obviously. Dying initially when his ultimate was so close to being ready, which meant that Hydration was able to be first. That didn't really make a huge difference. Both teams EMP'd one another's backlines. The US tried to follow up, of course, with that self-destruct. You called it as it came in, but that last room, the reason why you say it's so good for defenders, so many parts of this map, is they actually, defenders get high ground. And also, in that particular room, it's super easy to dodge things like self-destruct. There's pillars, there's, you know, floor-to-ceiling infrastructure that protects you. But if you're the USA, you're feeling very good now. You need to put Canada to a halt. You need to not let them get a snowball going.
So looking at the compositions at the start, USA on defense, they'll run Doomfist Pharah,
30 seconds.
which means you have the Pharah, you want to run Mercy here. So Raucus has been on point with the Ana though on this series. Really 6 sleep darts, big biotic grenades keeping everybody up. So he can do enough on the other players that you can run the Mercy and just have it pocket hydration. I think I do worry though, it's like you have Sinatra who could, if he gets hacked, he can't really do much, right? You can hack space here. And agilities, you don't have like a Brigitte or somebody to really kind of keep him in check playing Genji.
Raucus has 8 enemies slept. Banny has 6. Sure for now. I love that. The early warning system there. Muma's like, I bet you he's just about to walk up. It's almost like it's timed. Surefor just sheepishly takes a couple steps back and then returns to his shot. Right. Look at that, 35% of his ult, no worries. Easy EMP charge.
It also forces Moth to pocket hit him for a little bit, so that takes away all the healing from Hydration. Hydration, you mentioned Surefor up, with his ultimate charge, Hydration putting down a lot of damage in the choke now.
I mean, that's what you want, right? You want to tax Moth so that you can't keep Hydration like 100% pocketed, such that, I don't know, maybe Banny could, get some damage on him. Maybe finish him off, but... Oh, no, Sinatra, please!
Oh, no, wait.
Okay, yeah, we saw that.
His face, he rubbed his hands. He's like, yeah, my job's done.
Oh, yeah.
I got one. I'm good.
Sorry, guys. Sorry, I can't hear you guys. Lag, I can't hear you.
Oh, dude, my frames, man. Yeah.
Man. He'll be back pretty quickly, Doomfist. Obviously, so mobile that he's already returned to the fray. And Hydration, he might have a payload to drop here. Again, looking for a good opportunity to use the barrage. Up close, it's so dangerous. He wants agilities. He wants the Genji man. Almost down. Frustrating for Hydration. Not able to connect at that range, but...
This also potentially forces Canada, like I mentioned earlier. Like, if you're having difficulties with the Pharah, Agility is not really known for his hit scan play. Plays a lot of the projectile heroes. You need Surefor to switch off of this Sombra, but your Sombra has been so essential to what you've been trying to do as a team.
Oh,
EMP canceled.
Yeah, got booped away. No chance to use that one. He'd be mad. Agility somehow gets up to Hydration in the sky. Polly, what a cracker he says. How about a Dragon Blade? Raucus barely alive. Agility's in a similar position. Nice little dive in there as well from XQC, creating extra space, allowing Canada continue to press forward. And this is okay for them. Well, I'm going to ask for a fly swallow. They work on bigger insects as well, I guess. XQC.
He wants that.
Just backhanded him. But you see, he's popping off constantly, right? Like, he's just talking, like, when he's killing you, when he gets a player, he's talking to the corpse, like, yeah, you know who it is.
It's the little things when you watch XQC and Muma play as Winston players, right? Like, when he jumps on a Raucus, a lot of players will just jump straight at him and try and finish off the kill, but he jumps behind him and turns to... It forces Raucus away from his teammates, right? With the impact of Winston's elite, he ends up going the opposite way. It's just little things like that help Winston secure those final kills. Use a self-destruct there, just try and clear it out, create some space.
Yeah, I mean, Crimzo uses the curvature of the bridge there to actually make sure that he's out of line of sight of that self-destruct. But nice dive response. Hydration, though, has his wings clipped for the time being. Fortunately for him, his compatriot Sinatra's doing a bit of work, but now it's Doom v Doom action. Raucus is down. Gillies is missing for Canada. See what we can do here. Movers over on the payload. So Surefor, okay, Canada pretty much just trying to get on this payload and die if they have to. But XQC falls foul of that biotic grenade, and Hydration's got room to work with. He tried to tax out the defense matrix, but it wasn't enough. Surefor from long range, and Banny got rid of the Pharah. Canada, what a struggle.
They are able to start the payload moving, though, as the hack on Raucus has to back away here.
Oh, no, you cannot let that happen.
No. That's going to be a lot of progress on the payload. You may have to try and fight this without Raucus if you have any hope.
Moth has to go back and get him. Raucus just came out of the closest spawn, which was obviously good for the US. Getting killed immediately sends him to the back spawn. Not what you like to see. Agilities, yeah, just trying to stay hidden where he can set up a big punch. And, well, yeah, Muma, he can't do anything, mate. Sorry, you're just going to have to wait. Meteor strike, Moth gets caught, he gets two! Both supports from Agilities. You cannot ask for much more than that. Taking down half of the US team single-handed, well, I guess he's got two hands, one hand and a fist. And yeah, the rest of Canada follow up pretty comfortably. I think you're starting to sweat a little bit if you're the US.
Yeah, it looks like they gave the nano boost onto the baby diva coming back.
All planned, boys. Look at that. Got his mech back real quick, didn't he, Matt?
Yeah, so Sinatra switches off of Doomfist. You'll get a Brigitte in here. His agilities has gone crazy on his Doomfist, so you need something to come in here to stop this.
EMP now being used, and only Moomer actually being affected by it, but credit to Canada that they jump on the target that was hacked up, removing the Winston from the equation instantly. Now the United States, they're just crumbling. Now Canada starting to lean into them a little bit more, and they get that second checkpoint. Great team fight from Note there, follows up a kill with a self-destruct.
And you know, the Doomfist Winston combination, when these fights start to get crazy, it allows Surefour to get hacks off like that, where he hacks space basically in the middle of the fight, right after they pick off Muma, and he can't really do anything about it.
Wow, agilities. Going around the world there. Okay, a bit of aggression from the US, so they might have identified that Canada are a little bit out of sync right now, and Mooma's able to find Surefour with the Primal Rage. Oh, Raucus, no! He's taken down Agilities, drops in on top, but now Agilities thinks twice about trying to dive into the fray here, maybe to pull some bodies back towards him. Take the attention of Sinatra, and you can see he's actually done that. Agilities pulls back the entirety of the USA team, and comes out and stays alive.
I also think they were a little bit scared to go in there and challenge Agilities, because you had XQC come through with Primal Rage.
Crimzo?
EMP, Crimzo's
How did
able
he
to
get
get
that
off a
Transcendence?
Transcendence.
He must have been out of line of sight there. Fantastic response from him. Unfortunately, it's just not enough for Canada to stay around in this fight. Banny opts to preserve that nano boost as he gets chased on out. Very nicely done from Crimzo, though. I suppose he's had plenty of experience trying to avoid angry Sombras.
Nano boost for Team USA will probably come out a little bit earlier in this fight. Probably see it come out from Canada too. Maybe they use the nano on XQC to engage into an EMP here.
All right, nano boost there on Moomer. They send him in towards the back line. He's slapped immediately. Oh, good night, sweet prince. Note as well, it's a slumber party. But Moomer's the one in enemy territory right now. Canada have a chance to regroup and push forward, and USA are down to 5 players. And there's an EMP for Surefour, and a nano boost for Banny. And Moth is down.
But because of this Primal Rage, goes in a little bit too deep, but they don't have to use that EMP there to push on forward through that. You can save this EMP for when that sound barrier comes through. And you also hold on to your nano boost and get a Transcendence. It's okay if you're Canada and you lose this fight. You just need to finish it before the clock. An EMP comes through there.
Credit to the USA, though. Credit to the USA, Matt. They're using the EMP, but nothing else. They've got some very important ultimates still up their sleeve, especially that sound barrier. And their space just cleaning up and staggering a little bit more. That's frustrating for Canada. They are running out of time.
The cart's moving.
Oh, yep. It was Surefour. Just a little bit, though. Very vigilant with the US team to make sure he didn't get further than he was allowed to. But we're approaching that final fight, ladies and gentlemen. If this fight goes too long, there won't be another one. Canada looks like they know that too. They're trying to group up. Moomer is actually behind. He is behind Canada. They've given him the nano boost now. They've forced the Transcendence out of him. Then they have to use the EMP. Canada digging very deep just to get to the payload, but they're down a player already. Make it 2-4 up for Canada now. And Batty gets a quick sleep on Moomer, but it's going to take more than that. Moomer's stunned, booped up, knocked away. Still alive though, as XQC is down. And there is only one monkey to rule the jungle now. The United States of America will take the series. It's a stored defense on Rialto. This is our home, this is our city, this is our map.
Muma does get slumped in the back line, but they ended up waking him up there, and then he's able to use the Primal Rage. Knock away a few more players, but Space goes 47 limbs, 12 final blows, only 3 deaths there on Rialto. You know, there's a reason why everyone was so hyped during the Overwatch League season. Get to see Space play, get to see Sinatra play, 2 of the best young players we have in Overwatch overall, regardless of the country. It's great to see them here on the main stage. I think Canada too. They played them very tough during this. I expect to see both these teams go far at BlizzCon.
Yeah, Matt, this felt like an Overwatch League stage final to me. You know, I mean, it had that same level of hype, that same level of expectation going in, that same, you know, similarity and relative skill there. We see Batty versus Raucus on the same role is always so fun. Of course, the Diva battle for me was very, very important. Note and Space continue to solidify their strength. Yes, Kaki, you do have to wear that flag. United States very, very pleased, of course. And now this sets them towards BlizzCon with a great trajectory, not only just for the US feeling good, but NA in general is going to have a strong presence at BlizzCon.
Yeah, I mean, now these two teams can work some of their things out, strategize, watch some of the other World Cup stuff, Zero rubbing it in. It's good to see, both coaches at Dallas Fuel represent these teams, right? So I think Jane's going to take it. Jane's going to
wear it, Jane! Wear it! Yeah. You can't hide your face either, bro, sorry.
It's all in good fun.
Yeah, all's fair, all's fair. These two teams obviously didn't get a chance to practice with each other as well, but let's go down to the floor with Puckett and the victorious Team USA.
Everybody give it up for Raucus and Team USA. The Blizzard Arena was on the edge of their seats. They were all chanting USA at the end, but you're no stranger to this pressure. You've been doing it throughout the Overwatch League, and you did it in 2017 with this squad. How does it feel to be moving on to BlizzCon once again?
You know what? It feels so good because my goal personally is I want to beat South Korea. That's all I want to do. I want to win the I want to win the World Cup.
I love it, baby. Give it up for that answer. That's right. Last year, you matched up against Korea in the round of 8. Fantastic series there, but it was Korea moving on and eventually taking gold. This time around, you've got a retooled team. You got Muma, who you played with. You played against Bonnie to steal this #1 spot. How does this year's World Cup team for USA compare to last year?
I feel, to be honest, I feel like it's a bit stronger. I feel that we have more experience against the Eastern teams, and that was like a huge problem we had last year. Compared to skill-wise, I think we're all equal, and I think that we're going to give every single team an insane run for their money, and I think we'll win this year.
I was going to ask you, do you think you can do it? He just answered it right there. One more time, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Raucus and Team USA. Amazing performance across the board. Let's send it back to our casters for their thoughts.
Thank you very much, Puckett. I mean, I'm kind of sad. We're going to kind of, put the lid on this one and kind of wrap up what we've seen here. The arena is absolutely on their feet.
Yeah.
We are too, but that's kind of our job. We kind of have to do that. Let's have a look back at today's results, though, Matt, and just cast a fond look over the competition we have witnessed today. It started off, of course, with Norway versus Austria. We saw, of course, the Northerners really look dominant. Then Canada and the USA had their chances to warm up, essentially, for their final match. We saw some incredible stuff, though, from our friends over in Brazil, Norwegian crew. We've got a fond farewell of the Swiss. And what a way to finish off, of course, the United States versus Canada in that final match, 3-2-1. So the standings now look like this. Canada, after a perfect record, come out of this group in second.
Yeah, I mean, both of these teams, at the top, very strong. I mean, you can make an argument. They would have made it out of pretty much any group they were in, throughout the road to BlizzCon. But Team USA pulls out in the end, the better map count, obviously the win over Canada. Canada's only losses here are to Team USA, so Canada can't be too disappointed in the way they played either.
Absolutely not. And these teams, and of course, the teams we saw compete at Incheon, will be looking very closely at what transpires in our last 2 stages, of course, when we head to Bangkok and we head to Paris. They're going to be fantastic events. And if these first 2 World Cup stops have been anything to go by, BlizzCon is going to be incredible. Matt, it's been a pleasure as always to come and hang out and talk about some Overwatch. Thank you guys for watching. We're going to head now down to the stage and have Puckett and Malik wrap this party up.
All right, guys, it's been such a fun weekend, but unfortunately, all good things must come to an end. I want to say thank you to all you guys here at the Blizzard Arena, all you guys watching at home for joining us for the Overwatch World Cup Los Angeles qualifier. Thank you so much.
It's been amazing, guys. Give it up one more time for all of our teams competing. Amazing stuff. Canada will be at BlizzCon. USA is going to be at BlizzCon. The grand finals is coming up that first week of November. But we got plenty more World Cup to go.
That's right. These guys are going to be joining South Korea and Finland at BlizzCon. And we're going to be moving next week to Thailand.
Yes.
Yes. So make sure you tune in for that. That's our next stage.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, with that said, one more time, give it up for your champions tonight, Team USA. That's going to do it for Malik and I. Join Sully and the rest of the crew from Bangkok later next week. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye, guys.